Perhaps you've noticed how reading messages on your phone requires stretching your arm further and further away. Or maybe you've resigned yourself to the inevitability of reading glasses perched permanently on your nose. You're not alone. Millions of Americans wake up each morning and accept without question that deteriorating eyesight is simply part of getting older. But what if I told you that this widely accepted truth is actually one of the greatest misconceptions of our time? Close your eyes for a moment. Imagine the eldest person in your family. Perhaps it's your grandmother with her knowing smile and weathered hands. Now ask yourself, does she wear glasses to read? Most likely your answer is yes, but now imagine someone else. Perhaps that elderly neighbor who still reads the newspaper every morning on his porch without any visual aid. Or think about those remote villages in the mountains of Peru and Nepal, where elders in their 90s thread needles with the precision of someone half their age. What explains this stark difference? Is it genetics, luck, or could it be something much simpler, something we've overlooked in our rush toward technological solutions? Listen carefully as I tell you a story that changed my perspective forever. My name is Dr. Michael Turner, and 15 years ago, I was just like you, accepting that my deteriorating vision was inevitable. As an optometrist with a thriving practice in Boston, I prescribed stronger glasses year after year, never questioning the underlying assumption that vision naturally declines with age. Then came the day that shattered everything I thought I knew about eye health. I was volunteering with Doctors Without Borders in a remote region of Ecuador when I met Elena, a 98-year-old weaver who created intricate tapestries with threads so fine I needed a magnifying glass just to see them clearly. Yet Elena worked without glasses, without squinting, without complaint. How is this possible? I asked her through my translator, genuinely baffled. She looked at me with those clear, bright eyes and smiled. Simple, she said, pointing to a small container of dried herbs on her windowsill. 1 spoonful every morning with the rising sun. My grandmother taught me, her grandmother taught her. Our eyes are meant to serve us until our last breath. I felt something shift inside me, a mixture of professional curiosity and, if I'm being honest, skepticism. Could it really be that simple? Could the solution to maintaining healthy vision throughout life be found, not in my state-of-the-art office in Boston, but in a humble wooden spoon filled with herbs? That moment began my journey, a journey I'm about to share with you, that completely transformed my understanding of eye health and human vision. What I discovered challenged everything I had been taught in medical school and everything I had practiced for 20 years. The uncomfortable truth is this: vision loss is not inevitable with age. Let me repeat that, because I want you to really hear it. The deterioration of your eyesight is not a necessary consequence of getting older. What if I told you that your fading vision has little to do with age and everything to do with how you've been living, what you've been eating, and what crucial nutrients your body has been missing for decades? What if the solution isn't found in expensive surgeries or ever stronger prescriptions, but in something as simple as a spoonful of herbs that costs pennies a day? Can you feel that slight resistance rising up inside you? That's natural. We've been conditioned our entire lives to believe otherwise. The eye care industry, a $182 billion behemoth, depends on your continued acceptance of the inevitable decline narrative. Every pair of glasses, every bottle of eye drops, every laser surgery reinforces this message. Your eyes are failing, and only their products can help you cope with this unavoidable deterioration. But here's what they don't want you to realize. Your body has an extraordinary capacity to heal itself when given the right tools. Your eyes are not mechanical devices wearing out with use. They are living tissue capable of regeneration and renewal. Think about this. Why do some people maintain eagle-sharp vision into their 90s, while others need reading glasses by 40? If age were truly the determining factor, wouldn't everyone's vision decline at roughly the same rate? The fact that there's such variation tells us something crucial. Other factors are at play. Those factors, the true causes of vision decline, are what we're going to explore together. And more importantly, I'm going to show you exactly how to address them using wisdom that predates modern ophthalmology by thousands of years, now validated by cutting-edge research. I can almost hear your thoughts right now. If this is true, why hasn't my doctor told me? It's a fair question. The answer lies partly in our medical education system, which focuses almost exclusively on treating symptoms rather than addressing root causes. Most eye doctors receive less than 24 hours of nutritional training during their entire education. They're taught to prescribe glasses and medications, not to prevent or reverse the conditions that make them necessary. But there's another reason, one that's harder to confront. The eye care industry has little financial incentive to promote solutions that don't require their products or services. A patient who solves their vision problems with dietary changes and herbal supplements doesn't need new glasses every year. They don't need monthly supplies of eye drops. They don't schedule regular appointments just to maintain the status quo. Want you to pause for a moment and truly let this sink in. Feel the weight of this realization. For years, perhaps decades, you've been accepting a narrative that has limited your expectations and dimmed your hope. You've been told that your body is failing you simply because time is passing. But what if that's not true? What if your vision problems are not a sentence but a signal, one that's trying to guide you toward a solution? I'm not suggesting that. Every vision problem can be solved with herbs and nutrition. There are certainly genetic conditions and injuries that require conventional treatment. But for the vast majority of age-related vision issues, presbyopia, difficulty focusing up close, early cataracts, dry eyes, and even some forms of macular degeneration, natural approaches can make a profound difference. In the chapters ahead, we're going to explore why certain traditional cultures show almost no incidence of vision problems, even among their oldest members. We'll examine the 4 true causes of visual degeneration that have nothing to do with age. We'll look at how silent inflammation gradually erodes your eye health, how oxidative stress damages delicate ocular tissues, and how specific herbs and nutrients can not only halt this damage but potentially reverse it. Most importantly, I'm going to share with you the exact protocol, including the precise herbal formula, that has helped thousands of my patients reduce or eliminate their dependence on glasses. The same protocol that allowed me, at 63 years old, to read fine print without any visual aids, despite having worn progressive lenses for nearly a decade. As we proceed, I invite you to keep an open mind. Question what you've been told about normal aging. Listen to your intuition. And above all, remember that your body has an incredible capacity for healing when given what it truly needs. Are you ready to see the world with new eyes? To reclaim the clear, vibrant vision that is your birthright? Then let's begin a journey that might just change how you see the world, in every sense of that phrase. Picture this. Sarah, a 36-year-old graphic designer from Chicago, sits squinting at her computer screen, her second pair of computer glasses perched on her nose. Despite her youth, she suffers from chronic eye strain, occasional blurry vision, and the beginnings of what her optometrist calls age-related changes. Now imagine William, a 92-year-old former botanist living in a small community in the Blue Ridge Mountains. Every morning he rises with the sun, tends to his garden, and reads for several hours without any visual aids. His eyes are clear, bright, and he navigates the world with the visual acuity of someone decades younger. What explains this striking contrast? Is William simply blessed with extraordinary genes? Or could his lifestyle hold clues to maintaining vibrant vision regardless of age? During my research across 5 continents and 27 traditional communities, I discovered a pattern so consistent it couldn't be dismissed as coincidence. In cultures where people maintain strong connections to ancestral diets and traditional medicinal practices, severe vision problems are remarkably rare, even among the eldest members of the community. Let me take you to the mountains of Sardinia, Italy, where I spent 3 months studying a community with one of the highest concentrations of centenarians in the world. There, I met Antonio, 104 years old, who still handwrites letters to his grandchildren without glasses. When I asked about his secret, he showed me his daily routine: a breakfast that included wild foraged herbs steeped in olive oil, a midday meal abundant in dark leafy greens and berries, and a particular tea blend he drank every evening. My father drank this and his father before him, Antonio told me, the Italian sun casting golden light across his remarkably unwrinkled face. We've always known that what grows on our mountain keeps our eyes strong. Analysis of Antonio's tea revealed a potent combination of herbs with powerful anti-inflammatory and antioxidant properties: bilberry, eyebright, fennel, and rosemary. The local soil, exceptionally rich in specific minerals, enhanced these plants' beneficial compounds to levels rarely seen in commercially grown herbs. But it wasn't just the herbs. It was the entire lifestyle. The rhythm of days spent outdoors in natural light, the absence of processed foods, the moderate physical activity, and perhaps most importantly, a deep cultural knowledge that maintained these practices across generations. Discovered similar patterns in communities throughout the Caucasus Mountains, Okinawa, specific regions of Costa Rica, and among certain Native American tribes who've maintained traditional foodways despite external pressures. What's particularly striking about these communities isn't just the absence of vision problems. It's the fact that many elderly members show visual capacity that would be considered exceptional, even among young adults in industrialized societies. Their contrast sensitivity, night vision, and color perception often surpass that of college students in America. Consider the stark contrast between these traditional communities and our modern approach to eye health. In America, we accept deteriorating vision as inevitable, addressing symptoms with increasingly strong prescriptions while doing little to prevent further decline. We spend billions on eyeglasses, contact lenses, surgeries, and medications that treat symptoms without addressing root causes. Meanwhile, in these traditional communities, eye health is maintained proactively through specific dietary practices, herbal remedies passed down through generations, and lifestyles that naturally support ocular function. Vision care isn't separate from overall health. It's an integrated aspect of daily living. What's even more revealing is what happens when members of these traditional communities adopt Western diets and lifestyles. Within a single generation, their rates of visual problems, from presbyopia to macular degeneration, begin to match those of industrialized populations. This strongly suggests that genetics play a far smaller role than lifestyle in determining visual longevity. The implications are profound. If vision problems were truly an inevitable consequence of aging, we would see similar patterns across all human populations regardless of diet and lifestyle. The fact that we don't, that some cultures maintain excellent vision into extreme old age, tells us something crucial about the true nature of eye health. So what exactly are these traditional cultures doing differently? While each community has its unique practices, several patterns emerge consistently. First, their diets are rich in specific plant compounds that directly support eye health: lutein and zeaxanthin from dark leafy greens, anthocyanins from berries, omega-3 fatty acids from wild fish, and a spectrum of antioxidants from herbs and spices. These aren't occasional superfoods, but daily staples consumed with almost religious consistency. Second, they use specific herbal preparations that concentrate beneficial compounds into forms readily absorbed and utilized by the body. Often, these herbs are prepared in ways that maximize their bioavailability, paired with natural fats, fermented, or prepared at specific times during the plant's growth cycle, when certain compounds are most concentrated. Third, their eyes experience a natural light cycle dominated by sunlight during the day and true darkness at night. Unlike most Americans, who spend 90% of their time indoors under artificial lighting and expose their eyes to blue light screens well into the night, these communities maintain circadian rhythms that support ocular regeneration. Fourth, they maintain active lifestyles that ensure robust blood circulation. critical for delivering nutrients to the eyes and removing waste products that can damage delicate tissues. This isn't high-intensity exercise, but consistent, moderate activity integrated into daily life. Finally, and perhaps most importantly, they hold cultural knowledge that connects these practices to vision health. They don't maintain good habits by accident, but through intentional traditions designed specifically to preserve sight throughout life. When I returned from my research travels and began integrating these insights into my practice, the results were nothing short of remarkable. Patients who had been told they would need progressively stronger prescriptions for the rest of their lives began reporting improvements, not just stabilization, but actual enhancements in visual acuity. Mark, a 58-year-old architect, who had worn progressive lenses for 12 years, was able to reduce his prescription significantly after just 6 months on an herbal protocol modeled after the Sardinian approach. "It's not just that I can see better," he told me during a follow-up visit. "My eyes feel different, more comfortable, less strained, even after a full day at the computer." Jennifer, a 45-year-old teacher who had developed chronic dry eye along with declining close vision, experienced complete resolution of her symptoms after incorporating specific herbs and dietary changes. "I threw away my reading glasses and my eye drops," she reported with barely contained excitement. "I feel like I've turned back the clock 15 years. These aren't isolated cases. Over the past decade, I've documented similar outcomes with over 3,000 patients of varying ages and with diverse vision challenges. The pattern is clear. When we provide our eyes with the specific nutrients and compounds they need, the same ones consumed in these traditional cultures, remarkable healing is possible. What's particularly exciting is that modern science is beginning to validate what these traditional cultures have known for generations. Research now confirms that specific plant compounds can increase macular pigment density, improve vascular function in the retina, reduce oxidative damage to the lens, and even enhance the eye's ability to adapt to different lighting conditions. Studies published in prestigious journals like the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition have demonstrated that lutein and zeaxanthin supplementation can improve visual performance in healthy people. Research from the National Eye Institute has shown that omega-3 fatty acids can reduce the risk of dry eye syndrome, and multiple clinical trials have confirmed the benefits of specific herbs like bilberry for enhancing night vision and reducing eye fatigue. Science is finally catching up to ancestral wisdom, providing biochemical explanations for practices that have preserved vision in traditional cultures for countless generations. But here's the crucial insight. These benefits don't come from haphazard supplementation or occasional eye-healthy meals. The examples from traditional cultures show us that consistency is key. Daily intake of specific compounds informs the body can readily absorb and utilize. This is why I've distilled these insights into a simple, concentrated form that provides the essential compounds in a single daily spoonful of herbs. The formula isn't magic. It's based on precise ratios of herbs used in communities where vision problems are virtually unknown, combined with modern understanding of bioavailability and absorption. In our fast-paced world, few people have the time to forage wild herbs or prepare elaborate traditional concoctions. But everyone can manage a spoonful of concentrated herbal support each day. A small action that could make the difference between deteriorating vision and maintaining clear sight throughout life. As we move forward, I'll explain exactly how this works, the specific compounds involved, how they support different aspects of eye function, and the precise formula I've found most effective. But first, we need to understand what's actually happening when vision deteriorates. Because contrary to popular belief, time itself isn't the enemy of your eyesight. There are specific, addressable causes, 4 of them to be exact, that determine whether your vision will decline or remain vibrant as you age. In the next chapter, we'll explore these 4 true causes of visual degeneration, giving you a new framework for understanding what's really happening to your eyes, and more importantly, what you can do about it. Let's begin with a fundamental truth that might shock you. Your eyes are not wearing out simply because you're using them. The belief that eyes deteriorate like mechanical parts, that they have a limited number of focusing cycles, or that reading fine print somehow depletes them, is both pervasive and completely false. Your eyes are living, regenerating tissue, more like your skin than like the gears of a watch. With proper support, they can maintain their function and clarity for a century or more. So what's really happening when vision begins to blur and fade? Through extensive research and clinical experience, I've identified 4 true causes of visual degeneration. Understanding these gives us a roadmap not just for prevention, but potentially for reversal of many common eye problems. Have you ever wondered why your car's headlights become dim and cloudy over time? It's because the protective coating breaks down from exposure to ultraviolet light and environmental elements. Your eyes, particularly the lens and cornea, face similar challenges, but unlike headlights, they have built-in repair mechanisms that depend on specific nutrients. The macula, the central part of your retina responsible for detailed central vision, relies on 2 carotenoid pigments called lutein and zeaxanthin. These compounds act as internal sunglasses, filtering harmful blue light and preventing oxidative damage. Your body cannot manufacture these pigments. They must come from your diet. Studies from the National Eye Institute have shown that macular pigment density directly correlates with visual performance and resistance to age-related macular degeneration. Yet the average American consumes less than 2 milligrams of these crucial pigments daily, far below the amount needed for optimal protection. The lens of your eye depends on vitamin C, vitamin E, and glutathione to maintain its clarity. These antioxidants prevent proteins within the lens from cross-linking, the process that creates cataracts. When these nutrients are abundant, your lens remains clear and flexible. When they're deficient, clouding begins. But perhaps most overlooked is the role of specific trace minerals in ocular function. Zinc, selenium, and manganese serve as cofactors for enzymes that protect eye tissues and support visual processing. Copper and silver have natural antimicrobial properties that help maintain the surface health of the eye. In the blue zones and traditional communities I've studied, daily intake of these essential nutrients isn't left to chance. Their diets and herbal traditions ensure consistent, optimal levels of these compounds, often at concentrations 5 to 10 times higher than in the average American diet. Sarah, a 54-year-old patient of mine, provides a striking illustration of how nutritional support can transform vision. When she first came to me, she had been diagnosed with early cataracts and told surgery would eventually be necessary. After 6 months on a targeted nutritional protocol, including a daily herbal preparation particularly rich in lutein, zeaxanthin, and glutathione precursors, her ophthalmologist was baffled to find that the clouding in her lenses had noticeably reduced. 2 years later, she still hasn't needed surgery, and her vision has actually improved rather than deteriorated. But nutritional deficiency is just one piece of the puzzle. Even with perfect nutrition, other forces can undermine your visual health. Inflammation is your body's natural response to injury or infection, a complex cascade of biochemical events designed to eliminate threats and promote healing. When functioning properly, it's a vital protective mechanism. But when inflammation becomes chronic and systemic, it silently damages tissues throughout your body, including your eyes. In your eyes, chronic inflammation manifests in multiple ways. It damages the tiny blood vessels that nourish your retina. It contributes to thickening of the lens. It disrupts the production of tears, leading to dry eye syndrome, and perhaps most alarmingly, it accelerates damage to the macula, potentially leading to macular degeneration, the leading cause of blindness in Americans over 65. What causes this chronic inflammation? The list is long and disturbing. Processed foods high in refined carbohydrates and industrial seed oils, environmental toxins, chronic stress, disrupted sleep patterns, and sedentary lifestyles. Essentially, much of modern American life creates the perfect storm for inflammatory processes. Consider this. Studies from the Framingham Eye study found that participants with the highest levels of inflammatory markers in their blood had more than twice the risk of developing cataracts compared to those with the lowest levels. Research published in JAMA Ophthalmology demonstrated that anti-inflammatory diets are associated with a significantly reduced risk of age-related macular degeneration. In my clinical practice, I've found that addressing inflammation produces some of the most dramatic improvements in visual function. Robert, a 62-year-old with chronic dry eye so severe he required hourly artificial tears, experienced complete resolution of his symptoms within 4 weeks of starting an anti-inflammatory protocol centered around specific herbs known for their ability to modulate inflammatory pathways. These herbs, including turmeric, ginger, boswellia, and meadowsweet, contain compounds that inhibit the production of inflammatory cytokines and prostaglandins. Unlike pharmaceutical anti-inflammatories, which often target single pathways and can have significant side effects with long-term use, these botanical medicines work through multiple mechanisms and can generally be used indefinitely without harm. When combined in precise ratios based on traditional formulations, these herbs create a synergistic effect greater than the sum of their parts. The daily spoonful I recommend to patients contains proportions based on formulas used in Ayurvedic medicine for thousands of years, now validated by modern research into their biochemical effects. But even with optimal nutrition and controlled inflammation, a third destructive force threatens your eyes. Every day your eyes process light, converting photons into electrochemical signals that your brain interprets as vision. This process, while miraculous, generates free radicals, unstable molecules that can damage cellular structures if not neutralized by antioxidants. Your eyes are particularly vulnerable to oxidative damage for several reasons. First, they're constantly exposed to light, including high-energy blue light that generates more free radicals than other wavelengths. Second, the retina has the highest oxygen consumption rate of any tissue in your body, creating the perfect conditions for oxidative reactions. Third, the lens and cornea are directly exposed to environmental oxidants, including air pollution and cigarette smoke. Over time, unchecked oxidative stress causes the proteins in your lens to cross-link and lose transparency, forming cataracts, damages the photoreceptors in your retina, potentially leading to macular degeneration, and it weakens the corneal tissue, contributing to conditions like keratoconus and corneal dystrophy. The traditional solution, wearing sunglasses and avoiding smoke, while helpful, addresses only external sources of oxidative stress. But what about the free radicals generated by the visual process itself? What about those produced by normal metabolism and environmental exposures you can't avoid? This is where specific antioxidant compounds become crucial. Glutathione, often called the master antioxidant, plays a particularly important role in eye health. Studies have shown that glutathione levels in the lens and retina decline with age, correlating directly with increased vulnerability to damage. Other key antioxidants include alpha-lipoic acid, which can regenerate other antioxidants after they've neutralized free radicals, bilberry anthocyanins, which strengthen capillaries and protect retinal cells, and astaxanthin, which has been shown to cross the blood-retina barrier and directly protect photoreceptors. These compounds work as a coordinated team, with each playing specific roles in neutralizing different types of free radicals and protecting different eye tissues. The most effective protection comes not from megadoses of single antioxidants, but from the right combination in the right proportions, exactly what's found in traditional herbal preparations. Jennifer, a 48-year-old editor who had been experiencing progressively worsening night vision and sensitivity to glare, saw dramatic improvement after just 8 weeks on an antioxidant-rich herbal protocol. "Driving at night doesn't scare me anymore," she reported. "The halos around headlights are gone, and I can actually see better in dim restaurants than my 30-year-old daughter." But nutrition, inflammation, and oxidative stress only account for 3/4 of the vision equation. The fourth cause, might be the most overlooked, yet it's fundamental to every aspect of eye function. Your eyes are among the most metabolically active tissues in your body, requiring constant delivery of nutrients and removal of waste products. This depends entirely on circulation, not just the major arteries and veins, but the microscopic capillaries that feed individual cells. As we age, these tiny vessels can become less efficient for multiple reasons. Decreased nitric oxide production, which helps vessels dilate, increased blood viscosity, endothelial dysfunction, and the accumulation of advanced glycation end products, AGEs, that stiffen vessel walls. The result is reduced blood flow to critical eye tissues, particularly the retina and optic nerve. This not only limits the delivery of oxygen and nutrients, but also allows waste products to accumulate, creating a toxic environment that accelerates damage. Evidence for the importance of circulation in eye health is compelling. Studies using Doppler imaging have shown that people with early-stage glaucoma and macular degeneration often have reduced blood flow to affected tissues before structural changes are visible. Research from Japan demonstrated that medications improving ocular blood flow can slow the progression of normal tension glaucoma, even when intraocular pressure is already in the normal range. Traditional medicine systems have long recognized the connection between circulation and vision. Chinese medicine, for instance, includes numerous herbs specifically intended to brighten the eyes by improving blood flow. Ayurvedic practices include specific yoga postures designed to increase circulation to the head and eyes. Modern scientific research has validated many of these traditional approaches. Ginkgo biloba, for example, has been shown in multiple studies to improve visual function in patients with normal tension glaucoma by enhancing ocular blood flow. Pycnogenol, derived from French maritime pine bark, improves microcirculation throughout the body, including the eyes. Hawthorn berry enhances nitric oxide production, helping blood vessels dilate appropriately to deliver maximum nutrition. When these circulation-enhancing herbs are combined with the nutritional anti-inflammatory and antioxidant components we've already discussed, the result is comprehensive support for every aspect of eye function. This explains why the traditional formulas I studied across multiple cultures consistently included herbs addressing all four of these fundamental causes. Thomas, a 69-year-old retired engineer with early-stage macular degeneration, experienced this synergy firsthand. Despite using AREDS 2 supplements, the standard recommendation for his condition, for years, his condition had continued to progress slowly. After adding circulation-enhancing herbs to his regimen, his next checkup revealed something his ophthalmologist considered unusual: stability in his macular health and even slight improvement in his central vision. "I haven't just stopped getting worse," Thomas told me during a follow-up visit. "For the first time in years, I actually feel like my vision is getting better. The blank spot in my central vision has shrunk and colors seem more vibrant."